Do you need help with your Lego builds? Are they looking boring or flat? Well, hopefully in this video I'm going to be able to help you with that. I'm going to be taking you along my process on this new build that I'm going to be making, and hopefully it's going to be able to explain some of the kinks and problems that you're going to be having so you can avoid them. Now, what I'd like to talk about first is staying on track. How I do that is I pick a minifigure out and then I go from there. For this build, this new one that I'm doing, I'm going to be using Jedi Bob. I'm using him because he's a cool minifigure and I just kind of want to build something around him. I usually do this with my minifigures because if you have a cool minifigure, why not build something cool around it, because he's already all the cool that I need inspiration from. His dark gray, or the old gray on the tunic and the dark brown hoods and stuff is something that I might implement in the color palette that I'm going to be using for the build itself. Now within this MOC, I want to capture some action, not only with Jedi Bob, but with the sand blue battle droid, or pearl blue battle droid, sorry. This one has a really unique color basis, which is going to help with the palette, and also it came out in the same set with Jedi Bob, so it's going to hold some of its nostalgia, you could say. So great, now I have my two minifigures picked out, but where do I go from there? What am I supposed to do, or what am I supposed to build? All I have is a couple guys. Well, to what I've been referencing earlier, you're going to want to pick out a color palette. In this color palette, I'm going to be using some sand red. I'm also going to be using some sand blue and some dark gray, and I don't have those colors yet, but they're on the way. I did buy them, so look out for that MOC. I'm going to be making more content about it. In the meantime, I think we should use this MOC as a great example, because I did pick out two minifigures, and they both have some interesting colors. They're from the same set, and there's some action in there, because it's the scene, if you're familiar with it, Han shot first. This is where Greedo and Han were in a Mexican standoff, and Han pulled out his gun and shot Greedo and got him first. So now what about this color palette I've been referring to? Well, you can see for this MOC that there's four colors used primarily. The light gray table, black benches, and two-tone tan walls and ceiling and floors. So I think it's important that you have at least three distinct colors. For here, you could say that the two tans are kind of the same, so tan. Then we have the black benches, number 2, and the gray table, number 3. So 3 distinct colors makes this a good color palette. So now what we have so far: cool minifigures to do the MOC off of, hopefully some inspiration off those minifigures, and a color palette that we were going to want to be utilizing within the build. So now comes with the fun part. Now that I got my minifigures and my colors, what I'm going to be doing with this is trying to figure out ways that I can implement these bricks. You see, sand red is very rare, and honestly, I'm not going to buy any of it. I have got this stuff laying around from garage sales or whatnot from when I was a little kid. So I'm going to be using this stuff. So I'm limited on how I can build. So I'm thinking about using some snot techniques and not building any buildings or anything like that. I'm definitely not going to be doing something crazy like this Greedo build. I'm going to stick to terrain. So now that I know that I'm going to be doing a terrain build, it's helpful to look for inspiration. I found a couple pictures from Thrawn builds that I'm going to try to utilize. I'm choosing this technique because I'm limited by the bricks that I have. You see, sand red isn't made in a lot of colors, so I'm limited to the amount of texturing I can do. So I'm going to try to do what is to be a smooth MOC instead of a textured MOC. You can see on this Greedo build that wasn't the case, and I tried to incorporate a lot of textures so it didn't look flat, but that's because I had a lot of bricks that were available to me. So let's do a recap. Once you got your cool minifigures picked out, hopefully that's going to give you some inspiration. Once you have some inspiration, you're going to want to get your color palette picked out. And your color palette might limit you or give you more options into what you can build. For me, I'm going to be able to do a terrain build. Now I know that, I'm going to want to look into doing my texturing. If you don't have proper texturing, your MOC might look flat or boring. So keep these things in mind next time you do a build. And make sure you subscribe, because I don't think you're going to want to miss out on this next MOC I'm building.